सुखं शयानानिलये निजेऽपि नामानि विष्णु प्रवदन्ति मर्त्याम् ते निश्चितं तन्मयतां व्रजन्ति गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति जिहवे सदेवं भज सुन्दराणि नामानि कृष्णस्य मनोहराणि समस्तभक्तार्तिविनाशनानि गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति सुखावसाने इदमेव सारम् दुःखावसाने इदमेव गेयम् देहावसाने इदमेव जाप्यम् गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति श्रीकृष्ण राधा वर गोकुलेश गोपाल गोवर्धन नाथ विष्णु जिहवे पिबस्वामृतमेतदेव गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति जिहवे रसज्ञे मधुरं प्रिये त्वं सत्यं हितं त्वां परमं वदामि अवर्ण्यमेय मधुराक्षराणि गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति त्वामेव याचे मम देहि जिहवे समागते दण्डधरे कृतान्ते वक्तव्यमेवं मधुरं सुभक्त्या गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री कृष्ण श्रवण की जय हो। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हो। Reciting the Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan Pranam Mantra. गोविन्द देवदयितं परमार्थपूर्णं विद्वत्स्वहो जयपुरे जयभूषितं वे न्यायश्रुतिस्मृतिविवादसमोर्ध्वहीनं वेदान्तरिक्तबलदेवयतिं नमामि। I offer my humble obeisances unto the great sage Srila Baldeva Vidyabhushan, being very dear to Lord Govind Dev Ji and surcharged with transcendental knowledge, he became decorated with victory in the assembly of learned scholars in Jaipur. What a wonder! Nobody was equal or superior to him in debates on the Shruti, Smriti or Nyaya, for he possessed the treasure of fully knowing the conclusion of all Vedic scriptures. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada ki jai ho. Thank you, Prabhuji, for so wonderful seva. Dandavat pranam to all devotees.
Thank you, Mataji. Then we can have the recap till Charu Prabhuji joins. Charu Prabhuji's class today.
Okay, Prabhuji. So should I directly start with the recap or should I do the invocation prayers?
You start with the recap.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam to all devotees. So last class, Raksha Mataji took lesson 10, which covered sutras 28 to 31. So first we saw Prana refers to Brahman, then Akasha refers to Brahman, then Jyotis refers to Brahman. Now again in Sutras 28 to 31, that is lesson 10, the subject matter was Prana. So we elaborated on prana. Okay. So these sutras 28 to 31 are referring prana to Brahman. Now, what is the subject matter of these sutras? Specifically, I am relating to Sutra 28 to 31. What is the subject matter?
Subject
Anyone?
matter is the
Hare
prana
Krishna
referred
Mataji.
to Brahman.
Yeah,
We have to prove by using the different contexts, by using the different evidence of Shastra, scriptures.
yeah. Yes, Mataji. Rajkumari Mataji, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji. This is there is a discussion between the Pratandan, known as Juman, and the king. Sorry, Indra, the king of demigods.
Indra, yeah. Lord Indra, yes.
Yes, regarding the word pran.
Prana,
Indra,
yes.
prana. Indra says that I am pran, and you ask for any boon, I am pran, but you have to worship me, and I will liberate you. So
Correct.
then
Yes.
again,
Thank you.
after this,
Yes,
there are
Mataji.
so many censure.
Basically, the whole thing started with this conversation between these two people, Pratardana and Lord Indra. So the subject matter of these sutras is to understand the correct meaning of the word prana in the right context. So they are in these 4 sutras, we understand what exactly the word prana is referring to. So we go into that depth. My other question is, like, whose conversation was the background? So Mataji already answered. This
माता जी
king,
वन मोर पॉइंट ये है कि प्रतरदान जो था वो बहुत ही शूरवीर था और वो युद्ध करते करते ये सब क्यों हुआ क्योंकि वो पहुंच गए स्वर्ग में और वहां पहुंच गए फिर इंद्र बहुत ही उनसे खुश हो गया उनकी बातें सुन के कि ये युद्ध करते करते स्वर्ग में पहुंचा तभी उन्होंने बोला कि मैं आपसे बहुत खुश हूँ तो आप मुझसे कुछ मांगिए तभी प्रतरदान कहते कि मुझे मालूम नहीं पड़ रहा है कि मैं क्या मांगू आपसे तो आप ही मुझे दीजिए आपको जो अच्छा लगे वो यू गिव मी दैट वुड तो इन दैट कॉन्टेक्स्ट एवरीथिंग हैज स्टार्टेड दिस क्या pranos me worship me as a immortal and get liberation like this
so this particular background, this particular story was the background on which this whole thing started. Thank you, Mataji, for highlighting that. So then, what did Indra say that highlighted, that went into the, that is going in, that started with this particular definition of prana in these sutras? What particular sentence did Indra say that started the argument on the meaning of the word prana?
Indra said that I am prana and any intelligent person will worship me, thinking me as a great immortal person.
Correct. So the doubt arises here that is Indra prana? Is Indra the prana shakti that we are talking of? Because he just said, so who was Indra? Indra is just a person who said, on the surface Indra was speaking the sentence that I am prana. Okay, so that started the argument. So, but then what are the different, what is the Purva Paksha's argument over here? On the word prana, what did the argument start? Like, what could the opponent argue?
Who is this person named Prana? Is he individual
Correct.
conscious living entity or is the personality of God who resides in everyone's heart?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
So
is the
that,
person the Brahman or individual person? That is what it is.
yes, perfect. So these opponents, the Purva Pakshis, they can use which doctrine to state that prana refers to individual conscious living entity?
Ancient Sankhya doctrine.
Yes, they can use the Samkhya philosophy to argue that prana is here referring to individual conscious living entity, while this is not the thing, because they concluded that because this Pratardhana inquired, and Indra is saying that I am prana, so they are saying that Indra is a definite entity. So is Indra, so from there the argument starts. So now they are quoting the Samkhya philosophy to prove that point, that prana may refer to individual conscious living entity. But what does Vyasadeva affirm? What is how does he solve this argument? What is his response to this argument? Vyasadeva is the highest authority.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Vyasadeva dissolved this point, and he says that this prana transcends physical form and embodies the
Yes.
supreme Brahman.
Correct.
And
So, yes, Mataji. Vyasadeva is saying very clearly that prana is not just an individual or a deity, but it is the ultimate reality. So this is the whole.
Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. You want to add something?
Yes, that you have said that prana is not an individual or deity, only it is the part of the ultimate truth.
Yeah, correct. So this is the whole subject matter. In these four sutras, we will cover that. So let us get started with sutra number 28, which is the first sutra of lesson 10, which is pranas tatha nugamat. Okay. Now, what is this sutra saying? What is the general, uh, what is the explanation of this sutra? What is mentioned in this sutra? Pranas tatha nugamat.
Yeah. So now the first sutra talks about, it gives a contextual determination. It starts. There are four parts we'll be going through, right? So
Yeah.
this first part is the contextual. So does it refer to person Indra? Does it refer to the Brahman? And how to identify that, right? So that is where it begins. So meaning emerges from what entire relational. So it is not. It is the contextual. It is not an individual person that he is talking about. That's when it
Correct.
begins with that. And then it, as it evolves, passage relate to the term philosophical trajectory. That means this thing has to be seen in context and not in isolation, one-to-one conversation. That is what
Correct.
contextual is talking about. Because if it
Yeah.
is Indra to the person we are talking about, then it's the individual consciousness, or he's talking about individual form. But ultimately, reality is not individual. Prana is connects with the
Okay,
prana.
can we please have the mics on mute? Prabhuji is talking. Yes, Prabhuji, you can go ahead.
So it is not even though it is connected directly to us, but it is coming from the something higher reality. So that is the
Correct.
link here. That is the link,
Yes.
and it has to connect with that. So all that we'll be doing throughout this discussion, and this is always coming. Whatever term used, is it a individual soul or it is a Brahman? So
It's
these two things
Brahman.
are there. How to separate out, and both in one way they are okay,
Correct.
but the higher
Yeah.
reality is Brahman. That's how it is there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
So Prabhuji explained very nicely. Here in this particular sutra, they are saying that don't go by the meaning literally. Don't go by the literal meaning of the word prana. Don't understand it on the surface. You have to see it from the bird's viewpoint, from the higher thing. So just don't go, because Prabhuji said Indra is talking. So Indra is representing. It doesn't mean that he is that person. He is that highest reality. in a way he is right, but it is not the complete truth. Okay, so now that is the subject matter. So that is what this particular sutra is saying. The other principle which is giving more highlight is the liberating principle. So now how do we understand it from this particular principle, liberating principle?
Hare
We
Krishna
have to,
Mataji.
yeah, okay,
Uh,
Dipti Mataji. Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
The king, Pratardhana seeks liberation, but the highest gift.
Yes.
Supreme Brahman can grant ultimate liberation. Individual
Yes.
entity, as Indra is the individual entity, he cannot grant that. So,
Yes.
prana must refers to that which liberates.
Perfect. Thank you, Mataji. Indra is a demigod. He can give certain boons that are limited to his power. But Indra cannot grant the highest, which is liberation. So hence Indra cannot be Brahman. Indra cannot be, he is a part of that prana, he is a part of that Shakti, but he cannot be Brahman. So that is understanding this thing from the liberating principle point of view. Yes, thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, here again we have to understand how we are going step by step to prove that,
Step by
right?
step.
So
Yeah.
Indra talks about that is a context. Now that has to be proved with a liberating principle or universal. You know, all those
Yeah.
3, 4 are there. Each one has to be assessed with that, right? And that
Yeah.
will prove is it individual or it is higher than that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Mataji,
taking
as prana refers to the individual who liberates, that must be Brahman in this
yes,
context.
in this context. Yes, correct. So as
Even
Prabhuji's
Mataji, the life force or breath is also depend on the prana.
correct. So empowering factor is
Brahman.
the source of prana, the source of that Shakti. Because he is empowering the other individual. Jivatma can a Jivatma or the servitor or the agent of this particular Brahman or Shakti, the ultimate reality, can that empower another living entity? To some extent, demigods can, but not to the complete extent. So we have to see who is giving the universal empowerment. So we have to go to that source, which is not Indra. In this case, it is not Indra.
Brahman only is the universal
Yeah.
empowerer. He can grant
Yes.
all
Correct.
exist, all beings, and all
Yes.
spheres of activities also.
Yes, correct.
Our life
And
is existed because of prana only. This
yes.
is the main thing.
No existence without prana Shakti, without vital life force. Okay, but here it is very clearly mentioned, no individual demigod possesses such comprehensive empowering capacity. There is no God who can give complete empowerment. So that demigod can be just one aspect or just you can say the subsequent empowerer or can be the face of it, but he cannot be the source of that empowerment. Okay, then prana we have to understand in the cosmological foundation. So this point was covered in this point only, that the cosmic foundation is prana. Why? Because they have given a very nice analogy over here. Can anybody wants to explain this analogy?
The analogy
It's
says that the rim rests as the example is rim and
Yeah.
spoke and hub. Rim rests
Yeah.
on spokes, spokes rest on hub, and material elements depend on intelligence. Intelligence depends upon prana.
Prana.
Individual entities exist within cosmos. They are not the foundation. They exist only, and that is why the ultimate reality, based upon the ontological foundation, that
Yes.
it is a cosmological foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So in
basically,
this, yes,
yeah,
Prabhuji.
basically, yeah. So again, just understand, because this is coming again and again.
Yeah.
Cosmological foundation, that means who is the source ultimately.
Source.
So
Yeah.
source and the, I just now you mentioned the created being. Indra being is created by the Lord, right? So he
Yeah.
cannot be that foundation. He cannot be liberating. So
Yeah.
we have to go to the root of that, from where
The root of
all
it.
that power is coming. And that is a
Yeah.
cosmological foundation in a creation. It's coming from the Brahman and not from the Indra, so that Indra cannot be that. That is the
Correct.
argument given here.
Yeah.
Here we can see that the one of the best qualities, Sarva Shaktiman.
Yes.
Lord is a
Sarva
Sarva
Shaktiman.
Shaktiman. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So we can
All,
see here Rim.
all
Yes,
creation
Mataji.
is due to Supreme Brahman only.
Yes.
All creation.
Yeah. So the easiest way to understand Rim is resting on spokes. So individual Jivatma gets support from demigod spokes, that is little higher than the rim, and spoke is resting on the hub. So the demigods are also depending on the Supreme Brahman. So the hub is the highest source. So we have to go to the highest.
Yeah, in Bhagavad
Okay.
Gita, it talks about, right, the garland, right, with all those beads.
Beads,
How and the
perfect example.
interlying, the thread is the
Hmm.
Lord. He says, I am the thread in that. Manigrave,
Yes.
right? He talks
He
about
is
that.
holding, yes, he is holding
Yeah,
all the
yes.
thing.
So that's the
Very
Creation.
exactly
good,
meaning.
good example, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yes. And why? Because prana has transcendental characteristics which no other entity can have. Yeah. What are the transcendental qualities that are mentioned over here?
The
This super,
superconscious is present in all living beings, and he's
Yes,
a transcendent
Paramatma
of this
aspect.
Ananda,
Yeah, and Satchidananda. These two things
Satchidanand, yeah.
are the transcendental. Okay. Thank you, Harsha Mataji. So this will not be there in any other entity except the Supreme Brahman. So that is how Brahman is, you can say, differentiated. We can differentiate him. Okay. So we go ahead to the next 29th sutra. Now here this sutra is saying na vaktur atmopadeshat. That means though Indra is speaking the sentence, but we cannot recognize him as what he is saying, or we cannot believe him on just on face value. He is the speaker, but behind the speaker, there is the ultimate reality.
Yeah.
So we have to recognize who is this prana. Is the person who is saying the sentence, like person giving lectures of Srimad Bhagavatam. He is introducing us to the highest truth, but he cannot be the highest truth, right?
Yes.
I can
Better to
understand that way.
Wonderful example.
better to understand, Indra is a position.
Yes.
It's not an individual person,
Hmm.
right? So that can give a better understanding also.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhuji. And I think Prasad Prabhuji had given one very good example. The finger pointing to the moon cannot be the moon. It is just pointing to the moon, right? So this is what is explained in this particular 29th Sutra. So let us see it in all these points. The central objection of the speaker is, what is Indra doing? Why is Indra saying that, oh, I am the prana and intelligent person should worship me? On what basis he is saying that?
He identifies himself as an individual speaker, and then second point, he says that I killed brother, so that means it is his personal historic deed. And
He is
third point is that
utilizing.
if he is an individual, that doesn't mean refer. That
He's just
doesn't
kind of representing.
refer to individual prana.
Yeah.
Refer to that individual.
He's just
Perfect.
representing and passing the message. That's all. Yeah.
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 He is
That's how.
putting the yeah, correct. He is putting the emphasis on himself. He is giving
Yes.
himself importance first. Why? Based on his deeds. Because I have performed these valiant deeds, That is the reason. So he is showing his higher position basically. But that doesn't make him the supreme reality. So here there is this particular word that we have to go into it. Bhauma. Why this Bhauma is highlighted over here? Sorry,
There
Means
Bhuma,
are
not
abundant.
Bhauma,
Bhuma,
Bhuma.
interpretations.
Bhuma
So
means,
many
it means
interpretations
abundance,
according.
more, numerous.
Bhuma means abundance. Yes, Rajkumari Mataji, you were saying?
There's abundance interpretation, and on the basis of this, what pran means, the conclusion may be found out. And these are all these interpretations refer to Brahman as pran.
Yeah. They are
Adhyatma
saying that it is
sambandh
not.
means Adhyatma sambandh is most important one, because Adhyatma sambandh or Bhuma, there are so many references in the Kaustiki Upanishad, Chandodaya Brihad Upanishad, which gives the clear understanding.
Correct. So that it is not just one context. There are so many abundant references, so many references that is pointing out to something else. It cannot be just one thing. Like as
Pointing
Indra
to
is saying.
Brahman. It all major
Yes.
context points to Brahman.
माताजी, here we can deeply हम सोच सकते हैं कि अगर इंद्र ने ये कहा कि आई एम द किलर ऑफ वृत्तासुर, मगर उसका मीनिंग ये है कि उसकी भगवान की हेल्प के बिना वो कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं.
हाँ, उसको पावर किधर से मिला? वृत्तासुर को मारने की शक्ति उसको
तो
कहाँ
उसको
से आई?
मीनिंग ये है, ऊपर लिटरल मीनिंग नहीं लेना है, उसका डीप मीनिंग लेना पड़ेगा कि वो एवरीथिंग इज ही हैज डन एवरीथिंग वंडरफुली बट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस हेल्प.
Yeah.
Prana.
He has personally got this power from Lord himself. That is the reason he was able to kill Vrittasur.
Yes.
So he cannot take that credit. He cannot take that
Mataji.
credit.
Yes.
He identifies with Brahman.
Yeah, he is
identifies himself
posing.
with
Yeah,
Brahman.
correct. He is just trying to gain attention, take the credibility of it. But that is not the truth. And truth, we don't have to go by the surface. So again, we saw, because liberation point has come again, which we've already seen. So I'll skip that. An individual demigod cannot give liberation. That is one point. Then universal empowerment. Again, the same thing is being repeated. Now, here there is one more point, that Indra, although he is saying that, okay, worship me, but he has some empowerment. He is not like regular Jivatma. He is a powerful individual, powerful than a regular Jivatma. But then how is Indra, how can we differentiate Indra? On what basis we can differentiate him?
It is his power is limited onto celestial realms.
Correct. Only heavenly planets. Only heavenly planets, that till that he is limited to. But Lord is beyond that. Beyond all, like so many planets. We can't even imagine the power or the infinity or the limit of Lord's creation. We can't imagine. It's impossible for us. So then how do we go? We go by the hierarchy. What is the hierarchy?
What is the foundation? Basically creation, yes. The highest foundation.
Yeah, so here they have mentioned a vertical, we should go by the vertical hierarchy. Like who is, Indra is the individual Indra, but then he again is the product of the cosmic creation. And who has created this cosmic creation? Supreme Brahman. So we go by this hierarchy to understand the highest.
You can look at that. This universe, one Indra, another universe, another Indra, like
another
that, right?
Indra.
All these Indras, they converge onto one. That is a Krishna. Are they?
Yeah.
So that is a vertical hierarchy.
Vertical hierarchy. And if we remember, Lord Brahma had visited Lord Vishnu to say, ki, oh, tell Lord that I have come. She said, I am Brahma. So, which Brahma? Like how many hands? So all that. So he was surprised. He was thinking, oh, I am alone the highest Brahma. He never knew there's so many Brahmas. So this is the huge, enormous creation of Lord. And we think that, we are something in his creation. Even
Yes.
demigods cannot think that. Okay, so,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
then we see the, again, how we differentiate to the transcendental attributes of the Supreme Brahman. Okay, which is, in this case, not limited to heavenly happiness. Or also, to some extent, even demigods are not free from old age and death. They are to a major extent, but not completely. So this we have to understand. So they have limited powers, you can say. And then mastery on all the planets and beings, which is not there. Yeah. So if Indra is claiming that worship me, but on what basis he should be worshipped? Is he the master of all the planets and beings? So we have to differentiate and then go to the highest. Now let us go to the next sutra, 30th, second last sutra. Now this sutra is saying what? Anybody would want to explain this sutra? Shastra Drishtra Tupadeshu Vamadevavat. In a way, what Indra is saying is correct. Because Shastra is giving him that, you can
Yes,
say
Mataji.
Shastra. Yes,
Indra
you
speaks
said.
in this way, identifying himself with Brahman in accordance with the teachings of Vedic literature. He does
Yes,
this just as the sage Vamdev also did. The sutra
correct.
is telling this.
Correct. So here, the Vedic authorities allowing Indra, according to Vedas, what he said was correct, not wrong, complete. But what is the difference?
He
Yes, Dipti Mataji.
identify himself with the higher principles. So, on the basis of this, you can claim that.
Yeah, he can identify himself to some extent, because we can also identify. We can say we are part and parcel of Brahman. So we are definitely identifying ourselves, but to some extent, we cannot be Brahman, no?
Yeah.
So identifying in quality is allowed, but not beyond that, no? So the interpretation is incomplete. Indra's statement is, in a way, what is mentioned in the Vedas, in a way is correct, but not in the complete sense, it is not correct. Okay, so then what is the critical distinction? Like, what is the ontological teaching? Like, how do we go about it?
Indra was perfectly aware. He's an individual conscious entity, but yeah, he taught that his identification with Brahman, because these are not contradictory. The teachings points out beyond speaker's individual status.
Correct. So here what we see, there are different levels, and Indra was speaking from one level. Okay. So this has to be taken into consideration. And so then what is the principle of identification? This is a very important point here. I think Raksha Mataji would explain it very nicely. Our senses have certain powers, right? We can talk, we can see, we can hear. So we can say.
Yes, proper name is pran. Is there is pran, eyes can see, ears can listen, only due to this.
Yes,
So
the maintenance of the
pran.
senses is due to the prana shakti. Without the prana shakti, these senses won't operate.
So here again, hierarchy is showing. Yeah, here's a hierarchy. Just now we are talking about same hierarchy. So Indra is one hierarchy. There's beyond there is a hierarchy. So example given is prana. Under prana, all other indriyas are there. Raman and ear, mind, right? So that's what he talks about. But what is higher? Prana. Because there's no prana, all indriyas are useless. So ultimate cause, ultimate control. That's what is mentioned.
Perfect. Similarly, Vamadev also said that, I was Manu, I was sun god. But is he really Manu or sun god? He was made Manu
No.
and sun god by the Supreme Brahman. He was granted
Everyone
that
gets
power.
the power from the Lord, Brahman.
Power.
Yeah. So in a way,
yeah, it is a mention
yes.
that we all were one time Brahma also in some places.
Yeah. Yes. Correct. So the ground reality is, the all-pervading reality is, what is uniting all of us?
Brahman is the
Yes.
The Supreme
all-pervading.
Brahman.
Supreme
Yeah.
Brahman. We are
All-pervading.
just part and parcel of it. Yeah. That is uniting
Yes.
everybody.
That is the main thing. Now let us see so that is from the language we have to understand, we just don't have to go by the literal meaning of the terms. We have to understand from a deeper point of view. And for this, here the scriptural confirmations are very, very important. What is Vishnu Purana saying? All creatures, even demigods, are created by you, O Brahman. Bhagavad Gita is saying you are all pervading, Paramatma, and thus you are everything. And these establish that all beings exist with Brahman and they are derived from Brahman. So we all come from the Supreme Lord. And then the final, now this sutra is little complicated. Jiva Mukhya Prana Lingan Neti Cha. So what is the final objection? They are saying there are three possibilities. What is one possibility? That prana is referring to the individual consciousness or vital life force. What is the second possibility? That prana refers to, sometimes it refers to individual level, sometimes it refers to Brahman level. So it is a mixed interpretation. And there is a third possibility that prana refers to only Supreme Brahman. So now, how do we so which possibility is correct? 1, 2, or 3? And what do we use to come to the right conclusion?
So C is the correct.
C is correct.
Here we have to use that hermeneutical principle. One sentence, one interpretation. This is the rule.
Correct.
So we have to follow this principle, and we have to eliminate which with the different lenses. We have to see that, and we have to eliminate that interpretation.
Correct. So how are we eliminating possibility number 1?
Yes, individual cannot grant the liberation. First point is that
yes,
we have whatever the qualities are mentioned in above sutra, all are identified. It is the Brahman. So it is not possible that individual is a Brahman. So by logically it is not possible.
Yeah. And
we
then
must
second
identify with
elimination.
single meaning which fits the entire context.
Yeah. Correct. You have to go by the single meaning. And the last possibility is, so we eliminated 1 and 2. We cannot have mixed meanings. Individual cannot be the the supreme vital force. So how it is now concluding with the possibility number 3, Brahman exclusively?
Attributes are
because
like
it's supported
bliss.
by the scriptural authority, and the word is ashritva because it is supported by scripture.
Yes, we have to go by the Shastra.
Yes.
And here they have given a very nice, I think Dipti Mataji wanted to say something. Dipti Mataji, you were saying something?
I was saying attributes that is like transcendental bliss is the supreme.
Yes.
That we can.
Correct. Thank you. So this is the last sutra, and there are some more points to it. We have to see the criteria of efficacy. That again, only Brahman can give liberation. That was one thing. And then reconciling it with apparent, like we have to see the Brahman potencies. So there are, to understand this thing, there are, what is the problem? The scripture is saying that prana dwells, if prana, a life force is there in the body, once it leaves, then the body like if a person dies, the body, the prana leaves. So how do we apply this to the eternal Brahman? So what is they are giving a solution over here. Can anybody explain this solution? How to understand Brahman potencies?
When the prana dwells in the body, but when he dies, then there is no pran. So, but
How can
this
how can it apply to the eternal Brahman? That is the question.
There are two potencies of
There are two
prana,
potentials, Kriya
Kriya
Shakti.
Shakti and Jnana Shakti. With this, we are able to act wonderfully. When we die, both potency along with the prana goes away.
Yeah. So that Shakti is given to you by the highest source for a particular period. If he wants, he gives. If he doesn't want, he will take it away from us. Okay, so that is when he is in that action is Kriya Shakti and the knowledge dimension is Jnana Shakti. So we have to understand both these. So both these potencies are coming. The Kriya Shakti and the knowledge Shakti both are coming from Brahman only. That we have to understand. And prana in the, like, this is how that we are dependent on that highest source. For we have to understand using this, that God can give it and take it away also.
So,
And there
Mataji,
are
in
again,
this context, we understand that we did not get any number of years. हम कहते हैं हमें इतने साल हो गए, मगर हमें भगवान ने प्राण दिए हैं बस. जब तक प्राण है तब तक, मतलब फिर साल जितने भी हो जाए वो मैटर नहीं करता है. लॉर्ड हैज गिवन अस अ प्राण. जब वो खत्म हो जाएगा तभी फिर कितने भी साल हो जाए वो हम समझ सकते हैं ना माता जी.
and he can give you more also, like whatever determined is amount is there, but if he wants, he can extend it also. If Lord wants, he can do anything. People believe in destiny, fate. People go to astrology. I have this much life, but that can be changed also, no, by the highest reality. So we are completely dependent on. Yes.
योगी वगैरह जो होते हैं माता जी, ये they can extend their life by yogic kriya, pranayam, etc.
Again, if Lord wants it.
Yes,
They cannot do it on their own. If Lord wants them to do, they can. They are also dependent. Okay, but then we have to see it in different dimensions. The word prana, the understanding, is in different dimensions. Prasad Prabhu, you have not been answering. Would you like to elaborate on this? What are the different levels? Or Radha Vinod Prabhu, anyone?
There are 3 levels.
Yeah.
Phenomenological level, which is vital force in the body. Second is individual level, which is consciousness with the individual. And third is the ultimate, supreme Brahman. And all 3 dimensions are real, but Brahman is the ultimate source.
Ultimate source.
So, Mataji, you need to wrap up now.
Yes, Prabhuji. This is the last thing. So I can wrap up because all the sutras are over and the understanding of the sutras is also complete. So I'll stop over here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mataji.
for the participation.
Very nice recap, Mataji.
Wonderful. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Today, actually, I've been, as I told you before, from chapter 2 onwards, I've been streamlining my PowerPoints considerably. My efforts have already been how to make this complex subject in a simpler manner that we can understand. And I've been experimenting with different ways, different doing these things. So now I think I have a sort of perfected, but the initial lessons that we are going through that, as you can see, my PowerPoints are too details are there, too many details are there. No, but one who has to explain this thing in a limited time, highly constricted time limit. So how to make it better? How do we understand the essence of it in this 1 hour presentation? Okay. So as I was going through that, and there was a reason why I took this first lesson, first chapter and this second pada. First you have to understand all this different terminology. Okay, what is adhikarana? Adhikarana is actually the topics, particular subject matter. Okay? And within this chapter, there are 4 chapters, and each chapter has 4 sections called pada sections. Okay, pada means quarter, 4 quarters, makes it whole thing. So each pada then has several sutras. Okay, one or many sutras. That is how the entire Govinda Bhasya is structured. Okay, uh, and I've been experimenting, as you can see. I'm by nature, I'm a scientist. I always likes to make it easier to understand, and the more and more the subject matter gets complex, it's becoming more and more difficult. But now, after so many experimental efforts, I think I have simplified considerably. From chapter 2 onwards, you will see my PowerPoints are much simpler to follow. So the trick is, if you have a pure water, if you try to add too many things, the water gets muddy. Okay, too many details, you get lost in the main aspect of it. Principle, what is to be understood, that get lost. Okay, so coming back to this particular today's lesson, the subject matter is very complex. Okay, nonetheless, it can be made easier. So that's what I did. That the whole week afternoon, I'd been working on the third chapter, and third pada, third section, which is the largest one. I sent all that information to you this afternoon. You might get a time to look at it. And there you will see, when you see my PowerPoints, highly complex subject matter, how I simplified it. So make it less muddied water. So the purity of the water, when it is there, you can drink it. Okay. Here, when I said drink it, means how do you digest it and get it in your mind? That is my effort. Okay. So today, as I had been working on the third chapter whole day, in the last 2 hours, I got to see the PowerPoints for this section, and I realized how complex it is when I try to give too many details. So I started working in last 2 hours, simplified. So I haven't had a chance to make my PowerPoints, the simplified version. Part of it I made it in the last 1 hour or so. And part of it I will show you my draft, the word draft. From word draft, I prepare my lesson, and from there I make my PowerPoints. Okay. So I'll present part of almost more than half of my presentation today from that rough draft actually itself. So you will see how I'm evolving in making this complex subject matter easier and easier and easier. Okay, every time. So I've been experimenting. As I told you, I'm a scientist, and the science, you become really kind of a how to explain that, a very, very innovative when there is acute need for it. Okay, so here there's an acute need for that. No, so without going further details, I'll share with you first a few slides that I was able to make it, but then I'm going to show you my word draft, and rest of the talk I'll straightway present it with my word draft. In that word draft, I simplified the original PowerPoints that I had made several months ago. Okay, so let me first of all offer my prayers before I start, as we usually do that. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam tam sajivam Savadutam Pajana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Jai Shri. So now let's offer a prayers to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the six Goswamis of Vrindavan. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namah. O most beneficent Krishna incarnation, you are Krishna himself, appearing as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have assumed the golden complexion of Srimati Radharani, and you are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. We offer respectful obeisance unto you. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangostra Parshadam Yagnai Sankirtana Praye Yajanti Sumedasam. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Nana Sastra Vicharnaika Nipunao Shadadharma Samsthapakau Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyau Shranakaru Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Anandena Mattaliko Vande Rup Sanatana Raghuyugau Shri Jiva Gopalako. I offer my respectful obeisance unto the six Goswamis of Vrindavan, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatana Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Raghunath Dasa Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizing and studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the three worlds, and they are worth taking shelter of because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis and are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narom Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Shri Prabhupada Jai Shri Prabhupada Govinda Madi Purusham Tamam Bhajami Hare Krishna. So first let me share my PowerPoints, whatever I made in the last an hour or so. And that I couldn't do it. I'll show you my word draft. From there, I prepare my PowerPoints actually. So there are 18 slides were originally, and very, very complicated slides were there. You see that? Too many. So this is the lesson for all of you. Don't add too many details. Whether you write something, academic writing is quite different, okay? So that is by definition, it has to be complex, But when you're presenting something and you are trying to explain a very difficult and challenging subject matter, you try to make it as simple as possible. So you connect with your audience because your goal is to make them understand. No matter how scholarly you present, but if you're not able to explain to your audience, it's just a shrama evai kevalam. It's just a waste of time, So that is what my goal has been there, okay? So what is the subject matter today? So all these different topics, they were adhikaranas, adhikaranas. Adhikarana is introducing in the subject matter itself. There are 4 elements that you see very routinely that Baladev Vidyabhushan ji has designed that way, crafted that way. So he first tells, first of the 4 elements, what is the Vishaya? What is the subject matter? What is the thesis statement that you're going to talk about it? So that is a very important element, okay? And then he shows samshaya. Out of that subject matter, what are the doubts that can gather? Now, the doubting personality is genuine. He has genuine doubts, whether this or that, okay? But the Puropaksha is like a devil's advocate. So he will go deliberately on the opposite side of the truth, and he will even make it believable that's not right by showing, giving scriptural evidence. And there, how do they misinterpret, especially the impersonalist philosophers, and where they go wrong? How do they misinterpret? That we need to understand. And that's what Sri Baladev Vidyabhushanji, he did that. So the 4th element, so first is Vishaya, second is Samshaya, doubt, third is Purvapaksha, devil's advocate. And he will present very powerful scriptural evidence. But you need to comb through that. What are the evidence he's presenting? Where are the holes in it? How, in what way it got misinterpreted? So that is where the Siddhanta comes into play. Siddhanta is Vedic conclusion. And who is the author? Anybody can answer me? Who is the author of Vedanta Sutras?
Ved Vyas.
Yes, correct. Thank you. So Vyasa, Veda Vyasa is the one who is presenting his Vedic conclusion. in the fourth element, Siddhanta. Okay. And remember who he is. He is no ordinary person. Sometimes we wonder, how can he tell this is like that as a truth? Because he is extraordinary personality. He is the incarnation of Lord Narayana himself. That's how he knows exactly what is something that beyond this material world. Okay, and he brings that knowledge to us in Vedanta Sutra, and that is the beauty and important point, significance of the entire Vedanta Sutras. All right, that you need to understand. So these four elements, again, Vishaya, Samshaya, Puropaksha, and finally Siddhanta. Okay, and how does he prove that? Where this Puropaksha goes wrong in that? So that is what we are going to see. I'm going to try to analyze that for you in today's talk itself. Okay? So we have completed the first pada, first quarter of the first chapter, very beginning. Okay, and 10 lessons have already been covered. Today is the 11th lesson I'm taking. Okay, and that was the reason why I chose myself to bring it to you, because we are still in the beginning stage, and rest of the entire Govinda Bhasya, we are going through that. Okay, so let me share my slide here. So first I'll show you a few slides, okay, and then I'll show you the rough draft. Okay, everybody see my slide here?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
okay.
We are able to see it.
So this is my way of showing you the overview of the entire, whatever I'm showing. Okay, so here we are talking about the first chapter in the second quarter, Pada 2. Okay, so you see there are adhikaranas, right? So there are how many adhikaranas? There are 7 adhikaranas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 and 7. And each adhikarana has a particular subject matter. Okay, for instance, this adhikarana 1 is called Manomaya, and that is today's talk. What is Manomaya? Man, of course, everybody understands, right? Man is the mind. Okay, and what is the sitting place of the mind? Does everybody know that? Anybody volunteer? Where is the mind sitting place? Just like soul is sitting place is heart, right? Paramatma is also sitting, coexisting with the soul, also in the heart. But where did the mind's sitting place is there? Anybody?
Is it near to brain?
In near where?
Brain.
No, brain is just in the outer organ.
Prabhuji, Antakarana.
Yes, Antakarana, that is right in the heart itself.
Yes.
The seat of the mind is also in the heart. Okay. So Manomaya is actually referring to Brahman that we have been talking so much about. And you have been all been wondering, we are still in the beginning stage. So Brahman itself is given Brahman. But same Brahman, when this Govinda Bhasya talks about in Vedanta Sutra, it's actually later on the Paramatman aspect of it also. And towards the end, Bhagavan aspect will be evolving through that, all right? So keep that in the back of your mind, right? Now, so this lower half is that adhikarana is introduced here. We are talking about first adhikarana of the second quarter, Pada. and that Manomaya. So that subject matter we are going to be talking about, what this Manomaya refers to it. You get the idea. Manomaya means we are talking about the mind. But what that mind is here, we are talking aspect of it. Why is that called Brahman itself is also the personified Manomaya. Okay. So, on the top half portion of the slide is showing the slides, how I divide the lessons. And this by trial and error, I learned that, okay? How many sutras, how many adhikaranas I need to include. So by experience, I learned it. If I want to make, before my goal was to make 16 to 18 slides, but I found it turned out the time is extremely difficult to cover 18 slides or more, okay? So I'm trying to make it as few slides as possible. And each slide also I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, all right? So the lesson 11 has Adhikarana 1. We are talking about Manomaya. And there are 5 sutras that we'll be talking about, right? In the same way it goes other lessons. So let's go to the second slide. So first 5 slides I'm going to show you, and then I'll take you to my word draft. That's how I make my word draft first. A lot of my study myself, and then I prepare a word draft, and from word draft I translate into PowerPoints. Okay. So again, Adhikarana, throughout, all the way, I'm going to showing you the way Baladev Vidyabhushanji is showing in these 4 elements: Vishaya, Samshaya, Purvapaksha, and then finally Siddhanta. Vyasadev's own final say in that. So what is the subject matter of today's talk? The author discusses the qualities attributed to the Lord in Vedanta Sutras. And here, Lord is Brahman we are talking about, okay? Emphasizing his blissfulness and his transcendental nature. And this transcendental nature, keep that in mind. It's a key word. We have to understand that, okay? On that basis, Vyasadeva is going to defeat those who are misinterpreting Brahman, compares it with Jivatman and not the Paramatman. Jivatman is the individual soul, but that is an embodied soul. We have a material body, right? That's why it's called Jivatman, right? Distinguished from Paramatman. Paramatman is the super soul. And super soul is one aspect of Brahman. Second aspect is Paramatman. Third aspect is Bhagavan, right? And impersonalists define Brahman as one that is impersonal, that has no form, no qualities, no attributes. But that's a misinterpretation. What's the right interpretation? Brahman is indeed qualities are there, but that is not material qualities. It is transcendental qualities. All right? And Brahman is Satchit Ananda, eternity, knowledge, and what is Ananda? Everybody? Anybody?
Transcendental bliss.
Bliss.
Yes, we are not talking about ordinary happiness. We are talking about transcendental happiness. Is way, way beyond than our limited understanding. That bliss, nobody is saying that transcendental bliss yet, any of us. When you don't know anything about that, and somebody's trying to ask you, what do you think it is? A frog living in the small well, and he is asked, what could the ocean be like that? A mine well. Frog has never seen the ocean, but he's well familiar with his well. So, well as the yardstick, he can say a billionfold of this well might be an ocean. Still underestimating. Nonetheless, is coming to some idea about it. So here also, when we don't know exactly what is that Ananda is all about, we compare the Ananda we experience in day-to-day life. So to see the transcendental Ananda, bliss, is billions and billions of fold higher than we can actually best imagine. Suddenly you got $1 billion lottery. And what kind of happiness you will feel, and you multiply by zillion times. That is what transcendental bliss. So that is the kind of bliss we are talking about. The Brahman is like that. So this is the subject matter. That this is all about what is that Brahman and what is that Manomaya. Okay. So the samshaya develops a genuine doubt. Okay. He's an open-minded person, just imagine. So he thinks these adjectives in this passage, beginning with Manomaya, could be either the Jivatman, the embodied living soul, right? Or it could be the Paramatman, Brahman, right? Localized Brahman in the heart. It could be either, right? The Purva deliberately picks up the wrong thing, wrong answer, and that is deliberate. He is playing a devil's advocate here, okay? And if you can defeat devil's advocate, then you can derive at the truth, you know. So the Purva deliberately said, no, it cannot be Brahman. It has to be Jivatman. And he quotes the Upanishad verse, Manduka Upanishad. And Manduka Upanishad says, a prana, Brahman, this is a prana. It's not prana, living force, nor this Manomaya is okay, you know. And it must be the Jivatman by process of elimination. So prana, the life breath, here appropriately describes Jivatman, according to this Mundaka Upanishad, explains a prana, he a manaha. So he is neither a prana nor even the mind, manomaya. Okay, that's why his conclusion he draws from that. Mundaka Upanishad is a well recognized, well accepted scriptural evidence. But it turns out that is a complete misrepresentation based on out of context, and half of it is that fits his explanation he uses. The later half that tells something else, he ignores it conveniently. And that we'll see how it does that. So he says the word mana and prana here appropriately describes the Jivatman. Why? Because Brahman is a prana, a manaha. So that's where he draws conclusion. Splendid supreme Brahman has neither breath nor mind. Because of this passage from the Chandogya Upanishad contradicts. So actually Vyasadeva, he is first going to correct his interpretation of Mundaka Upanishad, and then he'll show you evidence from Brahma Aranyaka Upanishad and Chandogya Upanishad to correct him. Okay, that contradicts this particular description of the Supreme Lord, Supreme Brahman. It should be understood to refer to the Jivatman. That's what he is explaining, this Purva Pakshi, okay? But what is Siddhanta? Vyasadeva. He said this passage from Chandogya Upanishad was misinterpreted by the Purva Pakshi. How the impersonalists take Vedic statements indicating the Supreme Brahman out of context and partial. First half of it, the later half of it that doesn't agree with him, he completely ignores that. Okay? But even the part of it that utilizes, that also misinterpreted. What is the real meaning when Mundaka Upanishad says aprana, amanaha? What is the real? Okay, so that is what we are going to see that. And from several different angles, Vyasadeva is going to prove it that in his Siddhanta or Vedic conclusions. So this is the, now we are going into it, okay? So sutra, first sutra, we already saw Adhikarana. It pretty much defines what is the subject matter and what is at stake. How to correct the misrepresentation the Upanishadic verse and then come to the truth about it. All right. So there are 7 parts of this first verse explanation. Okay. And this is the essence of all the readings that I have done that. Okay. So first of the 7th element, nature of the Paramatman versus Jivatman. First, we need to understand the basic difference between the two. The way the Brahman has been explained in the Shastra, okay, the basic characteristics, the fundamental elements, from the very fact that it's been described, Brahman, that doesn't seem to fit if you accept Jivatman as the Manomaya. Because that Brahman, one who is Manomaya, he has to be full of knowledge. Okay. And is complete. And he is everything. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante ma bhuta bhava samanvita. This Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita verse. The same way this Chatushloki Bhagavatam verse also say the same thing. When there was nothing there, the Lord was there. When everything is finished, Lord remains there. So where does this prana come into play? Where does the mind come into play? Manomaya. That was created by the Supreme Lord. So when this Purva Pakshi says Jivatman, but Jivatman itself is created by the Supreme Brahman. Okay? So when Mundaka Upanishad says aprana, amanaha, what it means that it is not the living Atma, living personalities, because we cannot survive without prana, without living force. And we need mind, okay? But the Lord is not limited by these 2 elements. He is the creator of that. Before it was created, he was there. He created. Jivatman cannot create this thing. All right? So that was the first argument Vyasadeva comes into play or presents it, where Jivatman, he defeats that conclusion that Jivatman is Manomaya. Jivatman cannot be. From the very definition, from the very description of Brahman, it simply does not fit well if you accept Jivatman as Manomaya. One who has that has to have who is everything, who is present before everything else came into existence, and who remains everything when it's dissolved. Right? So Chandogya Upanishad illustrates the qualities described are specific to be for the Paramatman, not the Jivatman. The phrase Sarva Khalava Idam Brahma indicates that Brahman, the Supreme, invokes peacefulness, but ultimately describes the Supreme Brahman. And he defeats that Mundaka Upanishad misinterpretation by showing in Mundaka Upanishad that Brahman is aprana, amanaha. A means opposite of it. Is neither prana nor manomaya. Okay. How? Because that is on the material platform. Jivatman cannot survive without that. But Lord is beyond that aspect of it. He is all transcendental, spiritual. Right? And he is the creator of both Manomaya and Brahma and the prana, living force. So how can it Jivatman be a Manomaya? Everybody understood that argument, fundamental argument, how defeated?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Because this is a very crux. You need to remember this thing, understand this, okay? This is how the entire Govinda Bhasya goes all the way to the end. What is the subject matter we are talking about? How the Purvapakshis are defeated because that is based on a misinterpretation, deliberate misinterpretation, convenient misinterpretation, out of context and cherry picking. What that agrees with them, and that also by misinterpreting, they think it's agreeing. And what that doesn't agree with him, they simply ignore that. So the full verse has to be taken. What is the verse they're quoting? One is to take full verse into criteria. Understanding through pure mind. So how do you get to the truth? You need to have a pure mind. Mind that is not muddied with material elements. That is called pure mind. Unless you have a pure mind, transcendental level mind, you cannot see the truth. So the term Manomaya refers to the ability to comprehend the Paramatman through pure mind. Then only you will understand. If you are following yoga, you need to go to Samadhi stage. Not everybody can know that. If you go to the Samadhi stage, then you can see the truth itself. Free from material desires. This signifies that the spiritual understanding is contingent upon mental purity. That you must have that. Then you can see the truth. And now Vyasadeva is quoting this particular evidence, directly showing that Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. What does it state? He may be seen by a pure mind. You want to get at the truth about Brahman, then first and foremost requirement that your mind must be steady and pure, reinforcing the necessity of mental purity to grasp the supreme. Trance and self-realization. So if you are following yoga, then you must go to the Samadhi stage. Then the truth will be revealed to you in Samadhi stage. The sutra describes the state of Samadhi trance as a perfected state when mind is restrained from material distraction. If you happen to remember when we did this Yoga Sutras, what are the 5 elements that disturb the mind, how you get around that. All these things we learn it in this Yoga Sutra, Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. We learn it that, and that how to nirodha, how to calm down the waves, impulses which we get in our mind. That is what it's called, waves. Sutra describes the state of samadhi as a perfected stage where the mind is restrained from material distractions. Okay, so in this state, stabilized manomaya, one can perceive the self itself, Atman, and experience transcendental joy, that bliss that you can experience. And there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter, 20th verse 22, 20, 21, 22, 23, explain that in samadhi, one relishes the self and enjoys transcendental happiness, suggesting that true freedom is found in this realization. So you have to come to that level. But now Vyasadeva is going few steps even ahead, further than that. This is also not enough. Okay? What is required? That the mind has to be pure, but the mind has to act upon it. So there's a karma is involved. Okay? And what do you act upon? Bhakti, devotional service. You need to have service-minded action that you do, bhakti. Then the Lord Himself reveals to that particular mental frame of that living entity. So not only the pure mind, but with that pure mind, you need to act in bhakti process. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. So both elements has to be there. That's a very beautifully shown where the bhakti plays an important role in that. Okay, the fourth of the 7 elements of this first sutra, okay? Role of sacrifice and rituals. Sutra emphasizes the importance of performing sacrifices and rituals, yagyas. And who is Yagya Purusha? Anybody?
Bhoktaram Yagya Tapashyam Sarvaloka.
Yeah.
Krishna.
Lord Sri
Yes.
Krishna.
Yes. Krishna's expansion, Lord Vishnu, is the Yagna Purusha. So you need to please him by performing yagyas, sacrifice, to please the Yagya Purusha, the Supreme Person, which connects devotees directly with the Lord. Okay? So you make direct connection with the Supreme Lord by performing these yagyas. And Srimad Bhagavatam, all rituals are part of the transcendental body of the Lord. Rituals itself is the transcendental body of the Lord. That He is the ultimate enjoyer of all sacrifices. So, how to understand who is Manomaya? That is what is now being explained to us by Srila Vyasadeva, step by step. And then liberation from karmic reactions. You need to get over this karmic bondage also. As long as you have karmic bondage, the jnana cannot play a role in that. Okay? So transcendental knowledge, vijnana we are talking about, realized knowledge, performing actions in accordance with Vedic injunctions liberates individual from karmic reactions. So you need to get over that also. Look at how many requirements are there. Right? Pure mind, the mind must act in devotional service, and your karmic bondage has to be removed. in accordance with Vedic instructions, liberates individuals from karmic reaction, allowing them to be situated in a liberated state of spiritual life. What are all these qualifications required to understand who really is Manomaya, who really Brahman is there, and where the Jivatma falls short of it? Instruction from the Vedas is said to have save one from reactions of good and bad work, including the significance of following divine guidance. Okay? Bhakti is involved. Bhakti goes to a point only. Our efforts goes to only so much. We need the grace of the Lord also. And how do you attract His grace? By making your own efforts on the path that He is recommending. You do everything on that, offering devotional service, and still you depend on Him. Then His grace follows. Then only hit the dash line, finishing line. Sixth point, transcendental nature of the Supreme. Sutra asserts that a Supreme Being, Brahman, is beyond ordinary bodily form. So when the impersonalist said Brahman has no form, what it means, it does not have material body, but it does have a spiritual form. Okay. All his senses are transcendental and function in unity. Everything works in perfect order, perfect coordination. And that's how he creates this cosmic world. Okay, then Vyasadeva also quotes another Upanishadic verse, Svetasvatara Upanishad. The Supreme, as possessing a body, is not distinct from his essence. His body and soul exactly same, unlike us. Our soul is spiritual, eternal, unchanging. This body is limiting. There's a beginning and there's an end. Okay. Underscoring is unique in absolute nature. So again, that defeats the Purvapakshi. Purvapakshi was arguing that it's Jivatman who is the Manomaya. It cannot be. Jivatman is infinitely small, tiny, and Lord is infinitely large. Okay? He can be atomized, atom size. He can be the entire cosmic also world, and still beyond. Jivatman doesn't have that capacity. Final limitations of human understanding. The sutra concludes with the idea that the Supreme cannot be fully understood. Even the great Rishimunis, who are far advanced than us, they understand Lord to a tiny bit. Even the demigods, they cannot fully understand the Supreme Lord. Who are we then? Highlighting the need for meditation. Now the meditation we are going to revisit, okay? Hold on to it. An intuitive approach to grasp the divine. The meditation, how to do it, that also comes into play. Then again, Taittiriya Upanishad being quoted here. Where words cease, and where the mind cannot reach, say the Lord is even beyond mind. Just imagine, it's beyond mind. But the same Lord is beyond mind, can be attained, can be understood through bhakti process. Bhakti connects us with the Supreme Lord. That is the power of bhakti. It has tremendous ability to transform the very self of ourselves. So Taittiriya Upanishad says, where words cease, the mind cannot reach, distinct from his. Where the words cease and where the mind cannot reach, emphasize the limitation of intellectual pursuits in understanding the Supreme. So intellect goes only to a point. ultimately bhakti process is required with pure mind and pure intentions. Okay, purity and sincerity. I keep on hammering so many times to all of you. Unless you have the sincerity of purpose, the punctuality, serving the Lord, your bhakti goes only so much. Okay, Sutra 1 is still continuing. Now, this is the different aspect of appropriateness of qualities. Sutra asserts that the qualities described, such as Manomaya, Prana Sharira, and Bhurupa, Bharupa, what are these elements, are fitting for the Supreme Personality Godhead. Jivatman cannot fit that role. So Purvapakshis are again wrong and not applicable to the individual Jivatmans. Prana Sharira, he is the creator of the living force. Okay. Prana Sharira, the embodiment of prana, is the creator. Jivatman cannot be. And his Bharupa, he is the creator of the entire cosmic world and fitting for the Supreme Personality Godhead. This highlights the unique and exalted nature of Supreme. So now you can beginning to understand the way the Brahman is described in the Upanishads. It does not fit well if you accept Jivatman being the Manomaya. The Mundaka Upanishad again, he is understood by the pure mind, affirming that such qualities are indicative of the Supreme. Not only a pure mind, but in that pure mind, he has to act in devotional service. Second, understanding through the pure mind. Okay, now you assume that you got that pure mind. The term Manomaya refers to the Supreme being knowable through a pure mind, emphasizing the spiritual understanding requires mental clarity and purity. Clear mind, clear of all the material dirts in our mind, okay? And purity, it has to be in the pure mode of goodness. And that comes through devotional service. Taittiriya Upanishad describes the Supreme as residing in the sky of the heart. See that? Manomaya, that's situated in the heart. Accessing through pure perception. Bhagavad Gita 6.20 elaborates on the perfection of samadhi, where the mind is restrained from material distraction. These mental waves that you have, it has to be subsidized, facilitating the realization of the self. Liberation through a pure understanding. The pure understanding, you need to develop those characteristics, those basic elementary requirements. That's the beginning of the process. The sutra asserts that Supreme Being Brahman is beyond ordinary bodily form. When the impersonalist says that Brahman has no form, no bodily form, what it means, it does not have material form, but it does have a spiritual form. It does not have material qualities, but it has all spiritual attributes. All his senses are transcendental. He has senses. He can eat with his eyes and so on like that. When you offer bhogas, you cannot see him eat that, but through eyes he can taste what bhogas you offer to him. He senses the transcendental and function in unity. Svetashvatara Upanishad, the Supreme is possessing a body that's not distinct from his essence, underscoring his unique and absolute nature. So that is what Brahman is all about. And where Jivatman fails to meet this criteria, so Jivatman cannot be Manu. Everybody is convinced that now, his arguments?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, now I've reached to this level. Now I have to take you to do my word draft. Okay. All right, let me see how can I get it. Okay, here it is. Can you see this this word draft?
Yes, Prabhu. We are seeing.
Yes, Prabhuji.
I'm going to read it, okay? So this is we have already discussed the first sutra. Now we are going to go in the second sutra, okay? So I will not go into word by word translation, but the straight translation. The Manomaya here must refer to Brahman because the qualities that is described must appropriately only Brahman fulfills that criteria. Jivatman fails. So summary of 122. So 122 focuses on the appropriateness of the qualities. Let me see if I can make it. I wish I had more time to show the slides. Okay, the first element first discusses, it focuses on the appropriateness of the qualities attributed to the Paramatman, that is Brahman, and clarifies that these characters are not suitable for the Jivatman. So below are the key thematic elements that supports scriptural evidence. So in the first verse, we saw where the Jivatman falls short, what is required to get Brahman realization. And to see Brahman is the Manomaya. No. Now we are going to go a little bit more deeper into Jivatman's limited capacity. So appropriations of qualities. Here's the explanation. The sutra, I'm going to read it, okay? I cannot see it. The sutra asserts that qualities described, such as Manomaya, Prana Sharira, and Bharupa, that three elements that we heard about, what actually they represent, are fitting for the Supreme Person of Godhead, Brahman, and not applicable to the individual Jivatmans. These highlights, so Bharupa, the one who is the creator of the entire cosmic world, that Jivatman cannot be. Jivatman cannot create anything. In fact, Jivatman himself is created by the Supreme Lord. Somebody is speaking. Can you turn off the? How can I speak now with somebody speaking and microphone is on? Okay, and Prana Sharira, he is a personified of the Prana, and he is Manomaya, are fitting for the Supreme God and not applicable to the individual Jivatmans. This highlights the unique and exalted nature of the Supreme. Scriptural evidence, Mandaka Upanishad again, He is understood by the pure mind, forming such quality. We already discussed in the first verse also this. Second element, understanding through pure mind. That also we saw in the first verse, but now it's more deeper elaboration. The term manomaya refers, so manomaya is actually mind through which you can meditate. Okay, only mental capacity, pure mind, you can meditate. Meditate on what? Meditate on Brahman. So it is understood by the pure mind, affirming that such qualities are indicative of the Supreme. Understanding through the pure mind, liberation through pure understanding, all these things I explained that. So there is scriptural evidence that Svetasvatara Upanishad explains that while both the Supreme Lord and Jivas are spiritual, the Supreme is omnipotent, omniscient, he knows everything. He is capable of, there's nothing that he cannot do. Whereas the Jivas are minute, infinitely minute, and the Supreme is infinitely great. And Jivas are subordinate to the Ishvara, illustrating that differing nurtures. So this itself, Jivatman falls short what the Purvapakshis are pushing forward, Eternal yet conditioned nature of Jiva. Soul is eternal, okay, but he's conditioned by the three modes of material nature. He has this material body. Lord is all transcendental. Explanation, although the Jivas are eternal, they are subject to condition by the Prakritis, three gunas. This further distinguishes them from the Supreme, who is independent and self-sufficient. So only through bhakti process we can become free from the three modes of material nature. Okay, that's why bhakti mama vijanati, as we saw that 5 verses that I often repeat, how Krishna, simply hearing about him, chanting his holy name, how he removes the lower modes whose outer manifestation is Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Moha, Matsara, who are the enemies of the mind. He removes that, and Sattvam Prasidati is put us in pure mode of goodness. Only through pure mode of goodness you can offer pure bhakti. Bhagavad Bhakti Pravajitaha. And only in pure mode of goodness you get this Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam. Only through Bhagavad Vijnanam, Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, science of Krishna, who then get over all the material bondage that we have, okay, all the Kshidachasya Karmani, and all the doubts, misgivings are removed. And then we can begin to see who really we are. We are spirit, soul, and we are meant to serve the Supreme Lord. All this simply by hearing Krishna. So that is what bhakti does that. Conclusion. So this third verse clarifies that the qualities associated with Manomaya cannot apply to the Jiva due to its limited nature, emphasizing the dependence of the Jiva on this Supreme Lord. So Jiva is always dependent on Supreme Lord, whereas Supreme Lord is all independent, absolutely independent. The sutra highlights the stark differences in attributes and capabilities, reinforcing the notion of the Supreme's omnipotence compared to the Jiva's subordination. So you see that? Fourth verse. Sutra 4 elaborates on the distinction between the so Jiva is the agent and the Brahman is the object. So we as an agent, we serve the Supreme Lord. And here the Sanskrit word is used for that, okay? Asya, one who belongs to that, is Jivas. Where here the key thematic elements, let me explain that. Agent versus object. You need to understand this thing, okay? It's a little difficult to understand. Let me see if I can make it simpler. So here's the explanation. Agent versus the object. We are the agent. We render bhakti process. And that object of our bhakti, who is the Supreme Lord. Jivatman cannot be the object of worship. He cannot worship himself, right? The sutra emphasizes the difference between the Jivatman as the agent and the Manomaya as the object. You understood the difference between agent and object? And Sanskrit word is used, something that is asya, jivasya, So there is asya means that is agent. He is serving. And the object of the service, the target of our bhakti, is the Supreme Brahman. That's the difference. So Jivatma fails in that. This distinction is crucial in understanding the relationship between the individual soul, Jivatman, and the Supreme. And there is a scriptural evidence for that. Chandogya Upanishad, the phrase etam itaha pratimas indicates that the Jiva is the one who attains, while the Manomaya is the entity being attained. See that? One who is attained by the Supreme Lord and who is being attained by Jivatma. So that is Asya. This clearly establishes the Jiva as the agent, the Supreme as the object. The object of our bhakti is the Supreme Lord. Manomaya as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Expression. Since the Manomaya is identified as the object of attainment, it is inferred, deduced, that this term refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and not the Jivatma. So basically, we are seeing that stark differences, gulf of difference between the Jivatman and the Supreme Brahman. And where the Jivatman falls short, that is being discussed here. Yeah. As the object of attainment, it is inferred that this term refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not the Jivatman. So this passage illustrates the Supreme as the ultimate goal of the spiritual pursuit. So Manomaya mind has to act in bhakti. And the object of the bhakti is the Supreme Lord. The notion that the Jiva meets the Manomaya as the river meets the ocean. So a river's goal is to merge in the ocean, right? Same way Jiva has to merge with the Supreme, but not committing spiritual suicide. Even when we merge with the Supreme, the Jivatman maintains its identity. It does not lose its identity. The passage illustrates the Supreme as the ultimate goal of spiritual pursuit. And the scriptural evidence, the notion that the Jiva meets the Manomaya as the river meets the ocean through bhakti, which gets the current in the river, and we goes in the bhakti process, become Manomaya with the Supreme. Devotional service as the means of realization. The sutra connects the attainment of the Supreme with the devotional service, emphasizing that through sincere devotion, one can realize Bhagavan. And this is the Shandogya Upanishad states that topmost person achieves the Supreme Lord through devotion, pure devotion, which leads to liberation from the sinful reactions. He makes us qualify. See that we cannot do ourselves. Only through bhakti process we become qualified to serve him. And he allows us to become appropriately purified to serve him. રક્ષા માતાજી સાંભળો છો તમે?
Yes,
બોલ
Prabhuji.
રક્ષા.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
જો કેટલું સરસ બતાવે છે. Even bhakti we આપણે even the bhakti we offered in the pure stage, that also is not within our capacity.
Yes,
We
Prabhuji.
make
Very
efforts and he purifies us. And then he accepts us. Look at how merciful he is. And if we have sincerity, then everything is taken care by the Supreme Lord. He makes us qualify to offer the bhakti as it should be offered. Understanding the Supreme through devotion. The sutra indicates that the true understanding of the Supreme can only be attained through devotional service. So अभी आप लोग सब समझते हैं ना? हाँ भैया, बहन जी आप समझ रही है भक्ति क्या नहीं कुछ कर सकती है?
जी भाई जी.
Yes, Prabhuji.
It's very clear.
हमारी कैपेसिटी के बाहर वो भगवान में हेल्प करते हैं. Highlighting the importance of devotional mindset. You have to have proper mindset to offer that kind of bhakti. But that is also not within our power. But we make effort, sincere effort. And that sincere effort attracts the Lord's grace. And that allows us to completely transform ourselves, very nature, very swabhava that we are born with it, that is completely changed. So what is the conclusion? Sutra 1 to 4, the fourth verse, clarifies the distinction between the Jivatma. So completely all the way we are seeing in these 5 verses, the difference between Jivatman and the Paramatman, Brahman, and where Jivatman falls short, and where the superiority of the Paramatman is there, Brahman is there. So everybody's understanding that?
Yes, Prabhu.
Haribol?
Mm.
If you don't understand, let me know, okay?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes. So now we are going to go in the final verse today, okay? So what is the final verse does? It discusses the grammatic distinction. Now we are going to see getting into the Sanskrit grammar a little bit, okay? See how Srila Vyasadeva dissects everything. Now the Sanskrit grammar comes into play, and how? So pay attention to it. Grammatic distinction in this usage of words to assert that the term manomaya cannot refer to the Jivatman. Below are the key thematic elements along with supporting scriptural evidence. So grammatic distinction. The sutra emphasizes that the use of different grammatical cases indicates, so there is a distinction between the jiva and the supreme, manomaya. The jiva is placed in the genitive case, while the object of the worship is the nominative case. Now, I'm going to explain to you here what is actually. So, the way it is explained, it's asya, that we belong to something that is Brahman. Was the Brahman is the one who is in a nominative case, that Ishvaraha versus Ishvarasya. Okay, Ishvarasya means we belong to the Supreme Lord. Ishvaraha, the Supreme Lord himself. You see the grammatic difference now? Haribol. Ishvarasya
Yes, Prabhuji.
Ishvaraha. Ishvaraha means the one who is Ishvara, personified. And Ishvarasya, we belong to him. And we
Prabhuji,
serve
asya
him.
means આપણે એમના છે એવું કહી
આપણે
શકાય.
નહીં, આપણું.
આપણે.
Something that we belong to.
Okay, yes.
Asya means that.
ऐसे में जी इसको बिलोंग करना, इसके
Yeah, किसके belong करना वो asya होते हैं. So her means the person, that unit, that entity itself. Ishvaraha, Ishvarasya. We belong to him. We are his property. That's what it connotates. Distinct persons in worship. The distinction in grammatical cases imply that Jiva and the Manomaya represent two different persons. First of all, two different persons, okay? We are a person, no doubt, but Ishwar is also a person. Brahman is a person. And impersonalists don't accept that. One being the worshipper, we are the worshipper, and he is the object of our worship. So that's the fundamental difference. This reinforces the idea that the Manomaya refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Scriptural evidence, Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. Just as small sparks emanate from the big fire, spark is the Agnisya. Agnisya means that belongs to the Agni itself, the main Agni. Okay. Now Agni, there is the Agni itself personified. You see the difference now? Haribol, respond please.
Yes.
Yes, plus.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes,
You need to understand, otherwise you cannot follow that.
Yes,
How this grammatic sense is explained, Vyasadeva very intelligently makes that point very clearly. Emanation from the Supreme. The sutras highlights that all living entities and elements emanate from the Supreme. We are produced, we are created by him. And there was no creator for himself. Significant that while they are related, they maintain a distinct identity. We have an individual identity from the Supreme. Taittiriya Upanishad is the evidence for that. Confirms that Supreme Brahman is the source from which all living entities arise. Conclusion. 1 to 5, the 5th verse, argues that a grammatical difference in the term used to describe the Jivatman and the Supreme Personality of Godhead highlight their distinct identities. The sutra reinforces that while the Jiva is a part of the Supreme, it is not the Supreme itself. We cannot be Manomaya. All right. So that's the 5 verses done. And I hope you understood the essence of it.
Yes, Prabhu.
Did you guys
Yes,
understand the
Prabhuji.
essence of it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Why Jivatman
Prabhuji.
fails to meet the requirements to become Manomaya, as Purvapakshi is talking about. And where Purvapakshi failed, misinterpreting that Mundaka Upanishad verse. Okay, it's open for discussion now.
जीव गोस्वामी जी ने भक्ति रसामृत सिंधु में एक बहुत अच्छा श्लोक दिया है, उसमें ये मन का उपयोग किया गया है. तस्मात् केने पे उपायेन मनः कृष्णा निवेश्यते, येन केन प्रकारेण मनः कृष्णा निवेश्यते. So our mind should be focused. Anyhow, we have to be focused minded.
This is also famous verse. Prabhupada quotes many times this one.
यस प्रभु जी. दूसरा भी मैंने बहुत अच्छा फाइंड आउट किया है श्लोक का. तस्मादेकेन मनसा भगवान सात्वतां पति श्रोतव्य कीर्तितव्यश्च ध्येय पूजस्य नित्यदा. इसमें भी मन का उपयोग किया गया है कि मन से एक चित्त होके आप जी हमारे वो जो 5 श्लोका है 17 to 21 वो
Thank
कर
you.
सकते।
Thank
और
you
प्रभु
very
जी
much.
दूसरा भी एक श्लोक है फाइंड आउट किया है, मन मना भव मद भक्तो मध्याधिमानमस्कुरु मामे वेशसे युक्तित्वम आत्मनं मत परायणम, उसमें भी मन है।
Great, Rakshabandhan. You are great. બધું તમારા મોઢે છે.
પ્રભુ जी બતા જેવું બી સાંભળું ને તરત મારા મગજમાં વિચાર આવે કે કયો શ્લોક આવશે આમાં.
That's a great ability. Great ability.
So wonderful class, Prabhuji. Thank you,
Haribol
Prabhuji.
Rajiv Prabhuji, good
Yes.
to see
Hare,
you.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Any
Thanks for
question?
wonderful
Did you
explanation.
understand? Did you
Yes.
understand what I presented today?
I mean, yes, Prabhu. Basically, the Manomaya is a pure state of the mind. That is what you put in the second sutra when you are explaining that one.
Yeah.
Pure state of the mind. Then we are able to connect to the samadhi. That state is calling as a Manomaya. That's what I'm able to understand from this whole conversation.
But
We
cannot be Manomaya ourselves.
Correct. Exactly, Prabhu. That is a connection stays we are calling as a Manomaya. Am I correct, Prabhu? The
Yeah.
pure state of
Manomaya
mind.
is the target.
Correct.
That and that is the supreme being.
Correct, Prabhu.
He is
Yes,
the object of our worship. We are
correct.
the object of all our attempts to see him.
Yes, Prabhu. I mean, just my understanding, I wanted to make it clear. Manomaya is a pure state of a mind when we are able to connect to the Supreme. That state,
we are able to meditate on the supreme.
meditate on the Supreme. Okay. Okay. So that state is,
Yes.
is
And
okay.
its sitting place is in the heart.
Yes, sitting place.
The heart must be pure.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
Mind must be pure and heart must be pure. And
Yes,
this purity can be attained by our devotional service. If the Lord himself purifies us and makes us qualify.
Sure. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. And your last verse, sutra, is concluding with the, a devotional service. Again, we can only do the efforts, but end of the day, that mercy has to come from the Lord. Then only the success is there.
Yes.
But that is not in our control.
Bhakti goes to a point, but bhakti is the one who attracts Lord's grace.
Correct. Yes, Prabhu. And as you said in the Madhuri Kadambani, it is completely independent. It is
Damodar Leela, we know that, right?
Correct, Prabhu. The two-finger shot. So
Yeah,
one is our endeavor, and another one is Lord mercy. Yes. So in our hand, it is only there. Our endeavor, we can do effort, and that sincerity, as you said. Then end of the day, up to Krishna, what he wants to do. That is not in our control.
So his grace comes when he becomes convinced our efforts are genuine.
Correct. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
प्रभु जी मैं इतनी मेहनत कर रहा हूँ, सब कुछ भगवान को खुश करने के लिए करता हूँ.
100%, Prabhu. 100%. I completely agree, Prabhu. So you are the inspiration for all of us, Prabhu, to be honest with you.
This is the way I learned how to attract
Yes.
Lord's grace.
Yes, Prabhu.
Lord's mercy.
When I share
भगवान को करो और भगवान के सेवक जो होते हैं, भगवान की जो रियल डिवोटीज है, प्योर डिवोटीज, उनकी भी सेवा करनी चाहिए.
100%. And when I take your example, almost every week, once or either one of the classes I'll take, Prabhu. It inspires the people, Prabhu. How come that Prabhuji is doing so much service? Even that one eye is not completely able to see all the stuff. When I say that one, it inspires other devotees also, Prabhu. That's what I said. You are the inspiration for all of us.
Yeah, last 25 years of bhakti process, that has taught me all these things.
Yes, Prabhu.
And
Thank
50
you, Prabhu.
courses I conducted, right?
Yes.
We have conducted together. All these things I learned from that. And
yes.
I'm going to distill all the 50 courses that I conducted into my thesis.
So
the
nice.
subject matter of my thesis is all about bhakti, how it transforms our very nature, Swabhava, that we are born with it. That's in our very DNA, and yet could be changed.
Yes. So nice, Prabhu. Thank you,
Any
Prabhu.
other
Thank
questions? Thank you, Prabhuji.
प्रभुजी इन ऑल्सो 10th कैंटो में वेदों की जो प्रेयर्स है उसमें यही बताया है कि मन बुद्धि प्राण और इंद्रिया का उपयोग करके हमें भगवान की सेवा करनी चाहिए. यही जो मटेरियल है उसको ही प्योर करके उसको स्पिरिचुअल बनाना चाहिए. उसमें भी मन का
I
शब्द
mean,
आता है.
that Vedas personified. And remember, the whole issue came that Vedas cannot explain in words,
Yes,
but
Prabhu.
Vedas themselves declare, indeed, it can be explained by the words, it's Vedic words. Okay, और कौन रहेगा?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhandas Pranam.
हरि बोल प्रभु जी.
Krishna Prabhu, wonderful class again. As we were speaking of the topic on the cleaning of the heart, right? The just reminds me of how you also taught us about Shashtakam, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. So through this process of chanting, how the Lord, he cleans the dirt in the heart, and then we get Vidya Vadhu Vardhanam, like all the knowledge, Vidya, mercy, all flows, and then finally we get onto the stages of the pure praying. So,
Prabhuji, I cannot take credit. Somebody else taught me all these things, or acharyas.
But that's what you're doing again. That's what you like.
Whatever I can distill it, I share it with you, all of you.
You're sharing the what do you call bliss with us. So that is great. So thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Yeah. As for the topic today, I think I will have to sit down and read once again.
Yeah.
It was very interesting indeed.
I'll put in this PowerPoints, all this.
Yes.
Word document, I'll put it in the PowerPoints and I'll share with you.
Yes.
And now onwards, all the lessons, I'm going to keep modifying it, all right?
Okay.
પ્રભુ તે આજની જે પીપીટી છે એ અમને શેર કરજો એટલે અમે પાછું રિપીટ કરી વાંચી શકીએ સારું.
Yeah. I will.
Yes, પ્રભુ.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dhanavad Pranam. So nice you presented. You simplified. I think I was trying to see that, because if you add lot of details, so then you get
then it's
diversified.
get muddied, water get muddied.
And right now the way, those 5 sutras are going one after another, keeping the main thread alive. I think
So
that
you
was
have to
nice.
distill the main points, and then
Correct.
you have to get it across your audience
Right.
in a
So,
simple words.
Yeah. And how, I'm just mesmerized, the more complexities arise, whether it is the mind that is the jiva or it's the Ishwar. I think most of the time is spent because, both are spiritual. So which is more appropriate? I think most of the time is spent. Is it likely to?
One is both are like that in a qualitative wise.
Correct.
Quantitative wise,
Yes.
a huge difference, right?
Yeah.
And we serve him, and
Correct.
our object of our service is the Supreme Lord. There is a fundamental difference, and he is the creator, and we are being created.
Yeah. So this is likely to be the scenario in remaining
Yeah, it
sutras
is. It
also,
is going to go into
kind of.
so many different aspects. So
Okay.
here, the first aspect we saw today
Yeah.
in the beginning stage about the difference between Jivatman and Paramatman, right?
Yeah.
Then later on, we will learn that whether Prakriti, Pradhana, is the one who is the supreme, or is it the supreme being, Brahman? That we'll see. And then we will see the Jagata, how it was created. All these things, different aspects, we'll see.
So how a little bit complicated makes. We understand Prakriti is coming from Pradhan. So which is higher? As you are saying, Jagat, that means the person who creates, hierarchy is going right up.
Yes,
Each
exactly.
terms are,
Prakriti
Each term,
is always existing, right? Pre-existing. So that's his
Right.
energy. That's his
Correct.
external energy, all right? So
Yes.
there is always there. But Prakriti is also Bhagwan ke adhin hai.
Adin hai, yes. Like a jiva is adin hai, vaisa Prakriti bhi adin hai. Bhagavan. So it's the way it is has been interpreted, and I'm seeing the different components of terms are connected with Paramatma or Ishwar so nicely. Thank you, Prabhuji. You are making a lot of efforts and bringing so simple. Otherwise, it's a really complicated subject to understand.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Haribol.
Thank you. Haribol.
Anybody else? Prasad Prabhu, you want to say something? All right, Sharad Prabhuji, it's your time now.
Thank you, Prabhuji. You have actually oversimplified the all the sutras. I'll just repeat them, the main parts.
Yeah.
Like in the first two sutras, Manomaya, and you know it, everybody knows a very famous statement from the Vedic literature, Sarvam Khalau Idam Brahma. That means it is very, very clear that it is speaking about Brahman, who is the creator, who is the maintainer of everything, and he should be the object of our meditation and nobody else. And the second part of that same verse, it speaks about the jiva who should meditate on this Brahman. This Brahman, who is the owner of this complete universe. Why should meditate? To achieve realization. And as these verses 1 and 2, they explain, all our actions are based on our determination, and which in turn they are born out of our meditation on the Supreme Lord. And our actions lead to our next destination. Therefore, we should maintain the proper object of meditation, that is the Supreme Lord and nobody else. Then in the third verse, it is said that the Supreme Lord is infinite and the soul is infinitesimal. This we know from the Bhagavad Gita and all other sources. In other words, the Lord is infinitely big and we are infinitely small. And although the soul and the Lord are the same as far as quality is concerned, there is a big difference as far as quantity. The Lord is infinitely more powerful than the Jiva, and Jiva is very, very less. There should be no doubt about it. And then in the next verse, so we came to know about karma or work or action. From Vyakarana, we know that karma often refers to the object of a verb, the receiver of action. And in this case, the karta or the agent, karta means the agent of the doer, and the karma is the object which is acted upon. And Baladev Vidyabhusana, he reveals that this is the correct interpretation. The Lord, Manomaya, is the karma or object, and the jiva is the karta or the agent. Then in the last verse, fifth verse, we learned another argument posed against the idea that the manomaya or the object of meditation may be the jiva. If we accept that manomaya is jiva, then the object of meditation indicated here in the verse becomes oneself. And this is like what the Mayavadis they believe. And nowadays there are many pseudo gurus, they also teach that. But this verse then appears to support the idea that we are all one. However, the Chandogya Upanishad verse, it says that the agent, that is the jiva, indicated there is put in the genitive case, and the object, that is the Lord, Supreme Lord or Brahman, is indicated by the word Atma. Atma has many, many meanings. One of them is this. And this is put in the nominative case, and the jiva is thus indicated as the possessor. Thus, if we see the direct meaning of all these verses and try to understand as it is, then it is very, very clear. And if we want to misinterpret the Vedic literature, then like the Mayavadis, then the meanings, they become much different and it becomes very difficult to understand. Therefore, we should go by what our acharyas have described in all these literature. And as you find in all these slides, it has been made very, very simple and direct. And there should be nothing should be misunderstood from this. Thank you very much.
There is no ambiguity. Very nicely summarized. Thank you. All right. Since we are time up now, Samatha Mataji, are you there?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Can you do the Nashra prayer, please?
Next Sutra 6 to 10, I will be taking in the next weekend.
Yes, Prabhuji.
If I simplify the PowerPoints, I'll send you, Sharad Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Samatha Mataji, go ahead.
Sure, Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladaladaine. Praladaladaine. Hiranyakashi Puvakshaha. Hiranyakashipuvaksha Shilatankanakalaye Shilatankanakalaye Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha Yato yato yami tato narsimha, Mahi narsimha, hridaye narsimha, Mahi narsimha, hridaye narsimha, Narasimha madim, sharanam prapate, Narasimha madim, sharanam prapate, Tava kara kamalavare, nakam, adbhuta shringam, Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare Tava kara kamalavare nakham adbhuta shringam dalita hiranyakashipu tanubringam keshavadrita narari rupa jai jagadish hare jaya jagadish hare jaya jagadish hare Jayo Narsimhadev, 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 Jaya Narsimhadev, Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Jai Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam to all.
Thank you very much, Samatha Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank you all of you for your patience.
Thank you.
And
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you again on the next weeks.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam to all devotees.
Thank you, Mataji. All Mataji, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you, Sharad Prabhuji, Sanjeev Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.